The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a long-standing and complicated struggle with deep historical roots and significant global implications. It is not merely a dispute over territory but also encompasses issues of identity, justice, and sovereignty. The narrative of this conflict is composed of several key phases that highlight the evolution of tensions between Jewish and Arab populations in the region. In the pre-British Mandate period, Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire. The collapse of the Ottoman Empire during World War I led to the establishment of the British Mandate over Palestine from 1917 to 1948. This period was marked by the Sykes-Picot Agreement of 1916 and the Balfour Declaration of 1917, in which Britain promised to facilitate the creation of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. However, this pledge led to growing tensions between the Jewish immigrants arriving in increasing numbers and the Arab Palestinians. The volatility intensified with the onset of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. From 1936 to 1939, the Arab population's frustration with British governance and the influx of Jewish settlers resulted in the Great Revolt, a significant uprising that was ultimately suppressed by British forces. Following World War II, the landscape shifted dramatically with the United Nations proposing a partition plan in 1947 aimed at dividing Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. The Jewish community accepted this plan, while the Arab states and Palestinian leadership rejected it. When Israel declared its independence on May 14, 1948, it sparked a conflict with neighboring Arab nations leading to war. Despite being outnumbered, Israel succeeded in expanding its territory, an outcome that resulted in the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, referred to as the Nakba or catastrophe. Subsequent conflicts continued to reshape the region's political landscape. Important events included the 1956 Suez Crisis, the 1967 Six-Day War, and the 1973 Yom Kippur War. Each of these conflicts left Israel in control of significant Palestinian territories and further complicated prospects for peace. The 1967 Six-Day War, in particular, solidified Israel's military dominance and extended occupation over Gaza, the West Bank, and other strategic regions. The Palestinian uprisings, or intifadas, have been pivotal in shaping the modern phase of the conflict. The First Intifada, 1987 to 1993, included mass protests, strikes, and civil disobedience against Israeli occupation, drawing international attention to the humanitarian plight of Palestinians. The Second Intifada, 2000 to 2005, erupted after the breakdown of peace talks and a controversial political visit, leading to widespread violence and furthering the bitter divide. Efforts to resolve the conflict through diplomatic channels, such as the Oslo Accords in the mid-1990s, offered some hope for peace. The accords were intended to pave the way for a two-state solution but failed to address critical issues, like the status of Jerusalem and Palestinian refugees effectively. As these agreements faltered, deep-seated mistrust and periodic outbreaks of violence continued to hinder progress. In the current day, the conflict remains one of the most challenging disputes on the global stage. The Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories like the West Bank and Gaza persists, with the latter suffering from blockades and recurring military conflicts. Ultimately, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is as much a battle for self-determination and dignity as it is for land. It is a struggle that has left indelible scars on both societies and continues to be a defining element in the geopolitics of the Middle East.